As the Apostle Paul said, that Christ is the end of the law for righteousness for everyone that believes. Well, he's talking about, he describes in Galatians chapter 3, that until faith came, we were shut up and imprisoned to sin. This is what he's saying in Romans 7, 5 and 6. He says, for when we were in the flesh, the motions of sin, which were by the law, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But having died to the law wherein we were held, talking about being held prisoners to sin. That, having died to that we might serve God in newness of spirit, not the oldness of the letter. As he said in 2 Corinthians 3:6, for the letter kills, but the spirit gives life. He said we've been able ministers of the new covenant, not of the letter, but of the spirit. For the letter kills, but the spirit gives life. We need to understand that Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone believes. We need to understand the revelation of that has been perverted. People just don't get it, because the law is just to demonstrate our sin. This is what he's describing in Romans 7, chapter 7. I had not known sin but by the commandment, or sin by the commandment might become exceedingly sinful. Verse 23 describes how the law of sin in our flesh waged war against the law of our mind and brought it into captivity to the law of sin that's in our flesh. But he's describing something totally different right after that in chapter 8. And what you got to understand is Greek wasn't written with punctuation and chapter and verse. It's just one continuous flow of Greek letters and words. We need to understand there's no separation there. He's carrying out a thought, that there is now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. For the law of life and the Spirit of Jesus Christ made me free from that law of sin and death that he described in Romans chapter 7, having held our mind, or brought it into captivity to the law of sin that's in our flesh. Well, the law of life and the Spirit of Jesus Christ makes us free from that because of what Christ done. Christ was made a life-giving spirit. We need to understand that. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, he says in verse 45, the first man was made a life-giving, or made a living soul, but the second man, Adam, was made a life-giving spirit. We need to understand the revelation